Alright guys, so today I'm going to show you OptiPlates. Give you what it look like. That's what it's going to look like above your target. Or like this. There you go. It's a nice little UI. It really lets you see not only friendlies, such as these blue guys, but nice differentiation of colors. You see how like, look, can't see that one? Now I can see it, right? Because I can see a portion of his head. Can't see it? See it, right? And I'll show you the other thing it does. Oh, I'm in combat. Let me get out of combat while I'm headed over here. Watch these. You see how they shrink and they grow bigger? Yeah, it's awesome like that. So, OptiPlates. You're going to have to hit escape and you're going to go to OptiPlates menu here. It's going to bring up this panel. You're going to go to your general settings. I'll post screenshots along with this video so you guys can easily copy all this stuff, but I'm basically going to go over what it is. So you want the occlusion check. This is going to hide, if you can't see the person, it's not going to have it, right? This is kind of a double-edged sword. If you're in an arena or something, or you're in a PvP battleground, sometimes people go around behind a wall and you want to know they're there, or if there's a stalker's tether available, visible, you want to be able to see that as well. I like it off though, because if you have it on, I mean, you can already see there's these nameplates that are popping up in the background. Like, I can't actually see this person, but I know he's over there. It's just kind of annoying, so I turn it off. Z turns it off as well. The draw distance relates to how far away the nameplate's going to be. Health cutoff. This is at the exact point at which the color changes. As a spell slinger, I have a few abilities that trigger off 30% health. So for me, I want it at 30%. So on the nameplate itself, that's when their health will start to change. You're not going to see it on this one, because I'm probably going to kill it. But you see how it's green there, and it was yellow here? That's what it's doing, is it's changing the color for you. What else? Vertical offset, I didn't touch any of those. Hide unimportant friendly NPC nameplates. So, this is like random civilians that are walking around the streets of the city. You don't want that on. It just clutters the whole screen. What you do want is interactable units. Everything except for chairs, because apparently chairs are evil. Anything you can interact with, it'll pop up with a little nameplate. Anyone that has a reward icon, this could also be the challenge board. It should show up. Name and guild for important NPCs. Name and guild for vendors. You want that stuff on. Hide nameplates when blinded. You do not want that on. Or, you want that off, you know. Because, I mean, it speaks for itself. You want to be able to see your targets even when you're blind. This next one off. Tall unit nameplates down. So this will automatically adjust things downward, like it says on the tooltip. I clicked it on. Z is the one who set up all of the setting stuff. This is how he has it set up, so I'm kind of just walking us through that right now. Hide my bar when full. This is your own personal bar. You want to click this on, and you want to have it at 99%. This will only show your personal bar when you're damaged. You don't want it on all the time, basically. Hide friendly bars with full. You want off because you want to be able to see your friendly your individuals. There's going to be a visibility thing after this. I'll go into more detail on. Apply occultation for mobile PvP nameplates. You definitely want that on. Quest options. I think most of the stuff is standard, but you know, here you go. For pet nameplates, you only want my pets. You don't need friendly engineer pets or anything like that. For icons, you want them all on. Cleanse and threat. You don't need to worry about that stuff unless you really plan to raid. So that's kind of just left the same. I'm going to do visibility last because there's a lot going on with it. Style is exactly what it sounds like. It's just the style of the nameplate. You can either have it sort of on a line style, or you can have it flat. 120 width makes it nice and visible. You can increase the shield height on it so you can really see it. Pops out. The HP text, special bar text. You kind of want all that stuff the same. The shield texture, I put it to 1. The health texture to 1. What else here? You want the cast bar below the text instead of being above, and you want it to be fit horizontally. The moment of opportunity, this is like when you stun someone in the middle of a cast and their name turns pink. It'll show it on the cast bar instead of on their health bar. This is just when you subdue them. Basically what it says, when you prevent their ability to cast. So you want both those on. Resource bar height 12, 12. Combine focus and resource bars on one line. This just condenses it. It's much easier to see. I think the rest of us was all default. Default. Color and fonts. I've changed my font here. You can change to really whatever you want, but this makes it nice and visible for the name at ForgeUI bold 12. Class colors, I have these two unchecked. Everything else I just left default. Really the only thing I've changed color-wise, and there's another add-on you can get here called Color Picker. And then, I think it's here. There's somewhere in this UI, oh here it is. Under Advanced Miscellaneous you can enable Color Picker. What Color Picker lets you do is, when you click on these, instead of having to manually type in the code, it pulls up a color wheel. So you probably want to download Color Picker and just /reload UI and enable it so you can do this. Friendly name's blue, so that, you know, this guy's friendly over here, right? His name's blue. If I was to change this to, say, green, his name would change to green, right? Super simple. Friendly health bar, this is going to be the color of his health bar. This is going to be the cutoff, so when it changes colors. Friendly player names, right? You can change this to blue. See, this guy's now blue. This guy's now green. This guy's now this. Whatever I want it to be. This is his name when he's not flagged, so if this guy wasn't in PvP, this is the color it would be, this like light bluish color. Friendly player health bar, that's his health bar, that's his cutoff. Party members, this is the color of your party members. This is guild members. Orange really makes them stand out. It really helps for seeing people in BGs. You want to make these two basically colors that are really going to stand out to you, so you can follow people around in the open world. They should be drastically different than the friendly names and the friendly player names. And then the rest of this is just what you want it to be. For scaling, 111.05, enable distance-based scaling. This is what I was showing you earlier, where depending on how close or far away we are from certain nameplates, they shrink in size. That's what that's doing there. You want the minimum distance to be to 0 and the maximum to be 90. And you want the max scaling to be 1.0. You don't want either of these turned on. You don't want scaling based off health. Which these are going to be, this next section is kind of pointless if you don't have this checked on, but these are the settings I have for it. For opacity, you want the default to be 1, the shield health background 1.80 for the speech bubble opacity. The way you can see the speech bubbles. 0 for target opacity emphasis. Enable distance-based opacity. This will make it so that the further ones away kind of drown out in intensity. See how this right here is, it's like a darker green, while this one that's closer is a brighter green. It just helps differentiate it on top of the scaling of the size of it. 50 and 0.30. Apply default opacity to target nameplates and objective nameplates. Profiles we can skip. You don't need to worry about that. Harvesting, you want everything off. You don't want harvesting nodes all over the place. It gets cluttered and it just becomes a huge pain in the ass. You can see on your mini map where your harvest nodes are, so you really don't need that. Buffs, everything's default. I don't think anything was changed here other than in ForgeUI. See, all my buffs are here. Well, for my target, it's the same thing. All my buffs are here. Right? So I don't need the buffs on the nameplates. You can choose to do if you really want to. Otherwise, hide all debuffs, hide all buffs. It's just a preference thing. Advanced, if you have color picker, you want that checked. Now here's one that's really, really important. Okay, you want this to be in world HUD stratum, and you want update nameplates every 1 frame. If you have it set to like 8 frames, then when you're moving, and you see how smooth this is in the background, you see how smooth the growth and movement away of these frames is, it gets really, really choppy if it's not 1, and it just looks terrible. Here's another one that's important. Keep target nameplate on top, so whoever you have targeted, his nameplate is prioritized being over everybody else's. And then the other one is you want the anchor nameplate to bars, not the name. I'll show you. See how it moves it up and down? Well, if you have it set to the name, it's going to be significantly lower, and normally what happens is it'll actually, it's this raid hollow target's a little goofy. This is a better way to show you. You see this group hollow target? It sits lower on the character itself. So most of the time what it'll do is it'll sit, this guy's a Chua, but if he was a Makari, it'd block half of his freaking body. So you want it set to the bars, and it'll be much higher. It won't sit on top of the person. Alright, so I'm going to go to visibility here. And on the visibility plane, as you can see up here, you can toggle things in and out of combat. Left mouse button, watch this guy's health bar right here. Toggle in combat and out of combat. In combat, right? Hide or show. So the green is out of combat, and the red is in combat. M stands for my personal nameplate. I don't use nameplates in combat. I don't use my own nameplate because I have ForgeUI, and it gives me this nice thing here. If you like having your nameplate, like you only wanted it in combat, you could do my bar, my name, my title, all this shit. Right? Maybe you don't need level text because you know what level you are. Cast bar your text. And now when I'm in combat, I get a thing above my head. Right? Okay. If you don't like it, like let's say you have it all set up, there's an easy way to just disable it. You just click it. Boom, it goes away. It's that simple. Same thing. Look at this Chua's name. If I don't like, if I don't want to edit all these settings or I want to change it on the fly, boom. Alright, it's gone. So, my nameplates, party nameplates, friendly player nameplates, hostile player nameplates, friendly NPCs, neutral NPCs, hostile NPCs. So, maybe you only want nameplates for friendly, neutral, and hostile only when in combat, right? Now, because of our visibility in our general settings for some of this stuff, guys that we can interact with, like the Protostar guy here, his name's always going to be up. Because I have it overridden here that it's always showing it. If I didn't have that checked, it would change. So, I don't need to change any of this other stuff. In terms of the green, it just certain things that you're going to want on, right? Like if you don't want to know the level text of a character, you wouldn't need that. You would just completely take out the box, right? I like it on though. This is all target stuff, and that's all going to be pretty much the same. Down below, eliteness, you're going to want that shit on. So anyways. So friendly, neutral, hostile, I like it only on combat. Hostile player, you always want hostile and friendly on, in my opinion. But for the bars, for friendly, you only want when it's in combat, right? You don't want to see all this shit for everybody all around. That's just kind of annoying. See? I don't need that shit. Alright, the second he gets in combat, that bar is going to pop up. For your party members, personally, I only have all their stuff pop up in PvP. So, I want to be able to see them like I have this guy, right? But I only want to see their bars, for me personally, when they're in PvP. When they're not in PvP, but in combat. You guys get the general idea about this. For hostile players, you're going to want all of it on at all times. Except for maybe their interrupt armor. I like the interrupt armor on. It lets me see some stuff. It lets me see some stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like I can go, oh, that Esper has interrupt armor on. So I need to lead with a gate or something like that, you know what I mean? So you can play around with these however you want. It's really going to be a lot of personal tweaking. The real important ones here are hostile players. You want to always be able to see their bars, regardless if they're in or out of combat. Friendly players, it's your choice. Party members, it's kind of your choice too. But it can be nice to see their bar. Like, especially if you're a healer or you constantly want to be able to see on the fly, oh no, you know, Gilgaraz's health slow or something like that. Because even though he's not in combat, you can still see his bar if you're not looking at your party chat or something, your party window. So those are the settings for OptiPlates. If you guys have questions, make sure to hit me or Z up. We can explain more. Like I said, I'll also post some screenshots to go along with this video so that you guys can more or less copy the settings that Z has. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Alright, so I'm also going to do a little rundown on ForgeUI. What you're seeing here is ForgeUI, right? When I click on a target, ForgeUI. Looks nice and spiffy. In the bottom right here, you can actually change what you want your buttons to be. So if I wanted to submit a ticket thing instead of my store, I could do that. You can search for whatever you're looking for in your interface. To edit Forge, you go to the mini-map, it's different. To edit Forge, you either click here on the mini-map, or you hit escape, and you go to ForgeUI. And you're going to have a bunch of these options in the beginning. If you're using OptiPlates, you're going to want to go to nameplates first. You're going to want to go down to target. You're going to want to go never, never, never. Never, 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 nothing. And you're going to do this for all of these. Everything's nether and nothing. Right? Because you're not using Forge's nameplates, you're using OptiPlates as nameplates. So you go back to home after you do that. You're going to go into your general. However you want your timer to be. Right? I like local time. Alright? I like local time, so I'm going to do that. For themes, there are no themes yet that I found, so can't do anything there. Forge is still pretty new. I haven't messed at all with any of these advanced settings, and I don't really seem to have a reason to. For action bars, the sidebars is referring to what would normally be these bars down here. They don't come looking this way. I'll show you when I unlock the elements what they look like. Float text, I haven't really messed with this. Cast bars, I didn't mess with any of this. Sprint dash meter, I didn't mess with any of this stuff. For your mini-map though, you can turn off certain things, like look, here's a trade skill, boom, it goes away. So you can choose which ones you want on there, so you can kind of clean up your mini-map. For unit frames, that's talking about this here. For your party player frame, when it starts off, the background here is gray. This is HP bar color. Yeah. That's ugly as shit. So I changed it to green. HP text red so I could easily see it. Everything else I pretty much left the same. You also want gradient. That way when you have low HP, it changes the color. You can change it to whatever you want. Same thing with target. It's going to be the background and the gradient. Target to target, focus, all the same shit, right? The bar color comes with this terrible gray. I didn't edit these yet, but you can do it if you want. Okay, so here's where ForgeUI is awesome. Go to unlock elements, and you have all this stuff. It's going to be all over the place. If you want it to be a grid, you just click here, and you have a nice grid that you can base things off of. Here's the 2 sidebars. Now, the 2 sidebars will pop up over here originally on the right-hand side of the screen. I dragged them over here, and I tried to live with them on the left-hand side, and I didn't like it. So what I did is, each of these buttons was originally like this, but inside these bars, from 0 to 11. I didn't like that. So you can pull the individual button out, but be careful. When you move these bars, like, if you leave those bars there, they'll eventually go away if they don't have anything in, and they won't have this gray shit, right? But when you move these bars again, it'll actually move these bars, these buttons. I don't really want to do that because it'll mess my shit up, but trust me, it'll do it. So you want to move these bars somewhere where you can live with them, and then you want to drag the buttons to wherever you want. There's no way to make these horizontal yet. All right, they're gonna be vertical like this, so you have to deal with it, or do what I did and move them around wherever you want. You can move any of these pieces around. Every little piece you can move. That's what makes this UI great. I got my debuffs right where I like them, my buffs, my player frame, the whole 9, right? The whole thing can be edited. Now, I left this like this for a reason. So, see how my player debuffs is much larger in width over my player buffs? It kind of annoys me, right? So I can actually edit that. If I click this, it shows me the width is 274. If I click this, it shows me the width is 290. Now, here's another thing. You can't click on here and edit the value. You have to click down, plus sign, right? Kind of annoying, I know, but deal with it. And the position shit doesn't make any sense, but you can move the, you can move the position stuff like this, and you can get it so it's all nice and lined. Oh, we want to arrange it to the grid, right? So there you go. You click on that, boom, nice, perfect, clean, delicious. Oh, what's that? The cast bar? A little too wide? No problem. We go here, 271. Let's make it a nice 270. Move it over 1. We're going to make this 270. We're going to move it over. Boom. All right? Nice, beautiful UI. So, that is ForgeUI in a nutshell. If you have questions, let me or Z know. It's really nice. It cleans up your whole space. What this is your focus. I don't know how it looks for an Esper, but this is how it looks for a spell slinger. You know, that's basically my spell surge. So yeah, there you go, guys. Like I said, questions, let me know.